Hello, I'm David Satchell, Director of the National Center for Primary Care at the Morehouse School of Medicine. Perhaps you also know me as the 16th Surgeon General of the United States. We developed this program in cultural competence at the National Center for Primary Care because of our concern for the importance of culture in providing quality of care with dignity and respect to all people. As we become more diverse as a nation, this diversity provides unique opportunities and challenges, especially the challenge of eliminating disparities in health.
Bessie, I'm Dr. Stevens. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. Can't complain.
Atta girl.
Dr. Stevens is a well-trained, highly motivated, and much admired physician. He is well aware that the outcome from whatever treatment he prescribes is influenced by the quality of the relationship he develops with each patient. So he tries to make a connection from the moment he enters the examining room.
Bessie, I'm Dr. Stevens. How are you doing today?
Black-white encounters are greatly influenced by the history of racism in the United States. Can you find 3 things Dr. Stevens did or said that might have caused offense? First, while Dr. Stevens thought he was just being informal and friendly, assuming that it was okay to call Mrs. Jones by her first name is a problem. This may have pushed a sensitive button that harkens back to the old days when African American women worked on plantations as housekeepers and nannies for white families, who readily called them by their first names but expected that African Americans would call them Massa, Mr., Miss, or Mrs., and would have been greatly upset if an African American upstart called them by their first names. Using titles signals respect. For Mrs. Jones, being shown respect is the critical issue in this encounter with no need for shallow intimacy.
Atta girl.
Atta girl. Again, Dr. Stevens intended only to be informal and to offer encouragement. For African Americans, being referred to as a girl or boy by any white person is a hot button. We're likely to feel devalued and placed back in the context of Jim Crow era segregation. The final affront is when Dr. Stevens, standing over Mrs. Jones, pats her on the shoulder. His doctor culture has taught him that touch is an important part of healing. In this context, however, Dr. Stevens may have been advised to ask permission before laying on of hands. And poor Dr. Stevens has no idea why Mrs. Jones now has an attitude.
Es increíble todo el trabajo que hemos tenido ahora.
Sí, en esta mañana yo he visto 17 pacientes. Yo estaba muy ocupado. 17.
Listen. You hear them yammering in Spanish? Do they think we can't hear them? Probably talking about us. They ought to be a rule. Speak English. This is America for crying out loud.
Es que es demasiados pacientes a la vez. Mira esas pobres enfermeras. Han estado trabajando todo el día. No es posible, es demasiado trabajo. Esto está de locura. Esto está de loco.
¿Saben esta mañana?
Loco? Hear that? They think we're crazy. Loco? I'm gonna loco him right upside his head if they don't stop talking about us.
This is a common scenario in organizations that have recently hired multilingual staff. Folks may have difficulty when they hear staff speaking in other languages. They may often perceive, in fact, that the other staff speaking a language other than English are speaking about them, and they may become very uncomfortable. What we forget is that sometimes our Spanish-speaking patients have the same experience when English-only staff speak English in front of them.
Hey, John. Busy morning. I heard you saw 17 patients.
Yeah, I've been kind of busy. I've seen a few flu cases and a few rashes.
Oh, you're so modest. You know you'll get that productivity bonus again this month.
Yeah, I guess, but let's not forget our quality program, which is focusing this month on cancer. Cancer screening is very important. Prostate cancer, and especially colorectal cancer. You know how it is. When patients come in with all the problems, you tend to forget. And male patients don't like us poking around.
But remember, it's not just men. Women are having pap smears and mammograms. But we're not sticking our fingers up enough rectums, you know.
Okay, now let me get back to my patient.
Okay, but don't forget, today the big word is cancer.
Okay.
But remember, when you're seeing Mr. Lopez, prostate cancer screening.
Okay, let me get back to my patient.
And get that finger in that rectum. Remember, cancer.
Señor López, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, perfecto, no necesito nada.
Later that evening, Mrs. Lopez asks her husband if anything is wrong. He seems worried. He says he's fine, but she knows he is worried. It takes a few days, but finally he tells her, "The doctors think I have cancer." Whether it's a staff speaking Spanish in front of English-only colleagues, or English-only staff speaking in front of Spanish-speaking patients, the issues are similar.
What went wrong here? The issues are similar, whether you have Spanish-speaking staff speaking Spanish in front of English-only speaking staff, or whether you have English-only staff speaking in front of Spanish-speaking patients. Misunderstanding is a possibility. What should you do? Acknowledge everyone within earshot. Explain why you're speaking whatever language you are, and carefully explain the background of what you were saying.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Lieberman. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, doctor.
Hey, I've got some really bad news for you. There's not a female doctor on call here tonight, so I'm going to have to examine your wife. It's very important. The baby's almost here, so...
You need to find Dr. Simmons.
No, you don't understand. She's not here. I'm going to have to examine your wife. It's getting very close.
So you don't understand. You will not be able to examine my wife. You must find her.
Look, I've tried everything. I've tried her on her beeper. I just can't find her. She must be out of town.
You must find Dr. Simmons.
Look, I've got to examine your wife. Your baby is coming. You want a healthy baby.
You're not touching my wife.
No, I understand. I will be very, very respectful. I've done this 100 times. I've delivered 100 babies. Time is critical right now. We've got to do all we can to keep your baby healthy. I've trained in the best hospitals in America.
Call the administrator.
No, you don't understand. Your wife, your baby.
Yes, my wife, my baby, my responsibility. You don't understand that.
No, I'm hearing you, and I respect everything that you're saying, but this baby is going to come whether you say so or not. We have got to take care of your wife. I must examine her. Don't you want a healthy wife and a healthy baby?
Please, we're leaving. Let's go, we're leaving. Excuse me, let's go.
What would you do in this situation? A, transfer the patient to another hospital 30 miles away, where a female OB resident is available to deliver the patient?
B, do you let the labor and delivery nurse, an RN, not a midwife or nurse practitioner, deliver the baby with the male obstetrician giving instructions from behind a curtain?
C, do you express empathy and regret that the hospital is unable to meet their needs, but insist that the male doctor is the only competent one to deliver her baby?
Or D, do you diplomatically take the husband from the room and try to talk separately with the patient to see if she can make a decision that would help you out of this scenario?
None of these are good options. You should have talked to the patient and her husband early on in their prenatal care. Discuss what issues will be important for you at delivery. Discuss on-call arrangements so that they understand that the female obstetrician who's been caring for the patient may not be the one to be there at delivery. The baby will be born, one way or another, without or with the doctor's help. But in this situation, all, the doctor, the husband, the wife, and the baby, will suffer unnecessarily.
Virginia! Hello, Robert. How are you? How are you?
Good to see you.
Oh my gosh, doesn't he respect her culture?
I know, she's like Hindu, right?
Men don't touch women like that. They're very traditional.
He needs cultural competency training.
This patient and doctor remind us that culture alone does not define us. We have our core culture, which comes from our family upbringing, our ethnic and racial identities, our geographic origins, our language, our religion. But we're individuals. Our culture that we express is influenced by our gender, our temperament, our background. We learn, we grow, we acculturate to the culture we find ourselves in if we've moved from one land to another.
On the surface of it, the behavior is inappropriate. But without understanding the relationship that one has with that person on a one-to-one basis, many people come from very different cultures but become Americanized and relate very naturally as an American would.
What this scenario teaches us is to never stereotype. We should take our experiences with diversity and those of other cultures and be open and respectful at all times. It's a great adventure, a lifetime of learning, and if we're smart, the learning never ends.